How many of you have questions? Yeah, good, excellent. So what we'll do is we'll take one, we'll move from table to table, and we'll answer it in a way where you get your answer, but then so we can get around as many people as possible. So you can ask anything you want to ask about business or property or anything like that. Anything personal you want to ask, you can just ask Trisha. she'll tell you. Okay, so who's first? Yeah, your hand was up first.
Thank you. So two really quick questions. The first one is, I'm looking at a property deal in Kettering, which you guys quickly had a look over for me, and thank you for that. I'm viewing it next Friday. Would it be worth getting a builder in there first on the Monday to just go and look at it, and so I've got an idea of a rough estimate from him, so when I view it on the Friday the 14th, I can go, the costs of this for a building approximately.
So the question is, are you asking, should a builder go view it before you do?
Should I go with him on Monday? So on next Friday when I go in for a second viewing with my sort of mentorship team who are coming with me. So I've got figures for them ready, like the building costs ready.
So you're going to go twice?
Yes.
Why?
Well, just to get a quote from the builder so I can give it to the people who are visiting with me on Friday the 14th.
So you got some mentorship going on with someone? Yeah?
Yes.
So if you're going in and everything stacks up, then my advice would be use that mentorship on something else.
Okay.
Why are you going to go to something that already stacks up?
Okay. And
because if a builder's going there and you've got all the numbers that are running in order, especially when we show you tomorrow the step-by-step way of how to work everything out very accurately, because the fast numbers just gets you in. Then you work everything out, so then you know exactly what it is. And 95% of the time, you work the costs out, it actually costs less than what you did in fast numbers, 95% of the time. Sometimes, it might be more. But
if you have to rebuild the back of the house, for instance, or something.
Yeah, if something comes up. So what I'm saying is, because this is how you just want that validation.
Yeah.
The validation is the numbers. Forget the emotion. So if you're asking, should you do that and then do that, I would use that on somewhere else. Get the most for your whatever you've invested. Does that answer that question?
It does, thank you. And then the second one really quickly is I've done a direct to vendor. They're sat on a massive plot of land. It needs ripping down, but subject to planning, it's got a big potential for some new builder flats. I've not got that experience, so would you know of anyone who'd be willing to JV with me on this one? I've got the time and the local knowledge, so that's
so do you know it? So your question is, do we know anyone that has the experience to deliver a what project? A new build.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's your question.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah? But you're already a part of the real life tribe, right?
Yeah.
How many times have you said this is the deal I have? Has anybody want a JV?
I've not asked in the Facebook group.
Okay, so that's the first thing you got to do. As soon as someone just raised a hand over there. Who raised a hand?
Eyebrow, more of an eyebrow.
Yeah, listen. Yeah. So you ask the question. Yeah, that's the power of the community and the network. There's always opportunity to joint venture, do business, learn from each other, and all people in different areas and all that good stuff. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Give a big round of applause.
Next question. Yeah, Matt?
Planning, Article 4 area,
Yes.
C4, what are the key, 3 things to most influence getting it sorted?
Where is it?
Newcastle upon Tyne.
So the question was, Article 4 area, what are the top 3 tips into getting the best chances of getting it through quickly, on time, things like that. So get an excellent architect planning agent. You'll need an architect because you'll need a set of plans.
Cool.
And I would advise, if you can, get somebody that is an architect and a planning agent, because they understand the drawings, and if there's any amendments that need to be made based on the council's feedback, they can do it. It really speeds the process up. Planning is going to take 8 weeks from putting the application in to getting the decision, in most cases, unless they defer, which they will ask your permission for. If you go and see have you already got the offer accepted?
Yeah.
So urgently get your planning in. because you can there's loads of help we can give you in regards to delaying the process that doesn't look like your fault. But Article 4, 8-week planning applications and stuff, you want to do as much as you can, as quickly as you can, because that is a deadline that you can't delay even further. So get an excellent planning agent and architect, speak to them, find out what are the key things that you need to know about this deal. So you need to get them to put plans together, check the areas and everything. So what has been accepted recently to be changed into a HMO? What if any in that area has been declined?
So basically the requirement of what it takes to get through.
Yeah.
So making sure that the area, where the building is, that it's going to be within what the threshold, because that's what Article 4 is, to stop over
intensification.
Yeah, you like that word, don't you?
Right, it's what the council use.
So over intensification
of the area.
Of the area. So make sure that where your property is, it's below that. Make sure if there's any other requirements based on how big it's going to be, of the number of occupants or parking. Very rarely, but sometimes it might come up. Things that have caught us out before are things like flood area, so just check that it's not in that. Doesn't mean that it's not possible, it just means that you might have to make adjustments to your build. So that's what you mean,
so planning agent, architect, ring the officers in the council and speak to as many of them as it takes. Like you could literally speak to 5, 10 if it's necessary, until you get somebody that is loose-mouthed to say, I've got this property, I'm looking to do this to it, I'm going to make it a massively beautiful asset in the community, really adding value, providing luxury secure accommodation. If you've got any example pictures, you can even send them there. But again, you've got to get the relationship started. So ring them, get them to know who you are, what kind of landlord you're going to be. Because the thing is, councils don't hate HMOs, they hate what HMOs used to represent. That's why Article 4s were brought in, because neighbour complaints, because of all the disruption that it caused residentially. They're actually affordable living. It's like a flat now. It's cheaper than a flat. That's why HMOs are now taking over in that space, because they're cheaper to run than a flat. Smiling. You're smiling at me, Shane. Okay. So they don't hate them. So at the earliest convenience, start to build the relationship. And rule number 3 is celebrate that you've got an offer accepted in an Article 4 area. With some cake. Good job. Does that answer your question? Awesome. Give a round of applause. Next question, George.
So we got an offer accepted in Article 4 area. Yes.
Yes.
We got planning through. Yes.
Yes. Woo!
In 5 weeks. Yes.
Yes. 5. Wow.
The question is, we haven't changed we're thinking about changing a couple of rooms into studios. That's going to take it from 6-bed all-en-suite HMO to sui generis.
Okay.
How hard is it to change that? Because once you have the planning, I know it's a bit easier to change it from that to a bit more, because in essence it's going to be 8 people instead of 6 living there, and 2 of the rooms are going to be 2 studios.
So the question is, you've had planning approved for an Article 4 HMO to change it from a residential use class C3 to a C4 6-person HMO. Because of the studio thing and because of the sui generis, it's not going to be a planning amendment, which is 4 to 6 weeks. It will be a whole new application. It's nothing to be alarmed about. What you need to do is just get the planning in as quickly as possible so that it doesn't delay works. I presume you're still doing the same thing to the property anyway. 6 rooms, 2 have got bedsit style in. So worst case scenario, they say, no, you can only have 6 people in there. Then it's still a 6-person, you can still crack on with your build works, but it just means you'll get more rent on those rooms because they've got kitchenettes in. But if they do approve it, then it puts it into an even higher valuation because you've got sui generis on there. But you'll need a new 8-week application for that.
It's a very good way of looking at it. I didn't think about it. They don't approve, just get 1 person in there.
Because the thing is, now you've gone to C4, it's it's already an operating 6-bed, so it's only an extra 2 people. That's how they'll look at it. And you just say, oh yeah, it's just if a couple comes along. Obviously, if you don't have... How many of you know about planning for HMO, 6-bed and sui generis? So, because I've just realised, how many not? Okay. So you've got a normal house that's like a residential house that is classed as a C3 residential dwelling. To go to a up to 6-person HMO, that is a different use class of C4. in a normal residential area that doesn't require planning, like an Article 4, you can do that under permitted development rights, unless there's selective planning and things like that, which you can check. But if you want to put more than 6 persons, so the 7th person requires a different planning use class. So you may have a property that's 6 bedrooms, but can suit 10 people for the license, but if you only have planning for 6, you can't let it to 10. Does that make sense? So you need both. You need the license to say that it's fit for 8, and you need the planning to say that it's fit for 8 persons as well. But also, it's worth paying an extra £462 or whatever the council fee is for yours to get the sui generis planning, because if you do, it puts it into a different price bracket for the commercial revaluation. It takes it from, like, one of them that we did went from 385 to 455 just because of the sui generis aspect. Yeah, really, in an Article 4 area.
And also, the investigation that you did to get this planning through the first time, just do the same. So ask the requirements. Would it be if I was to do this? What's the likelihood of it happening? You know, and just get what requirement it would need for that to happen.
You'll most likely get this through because, like I said, from now, you're not going in for a sui generis HMO. You're going in for an extra 2 people. It's an extra 2 occupant application now, not a from 3 to 8, which is how they would have looked at it before.
Very quick question, still in the same thing. The financial company was giving us development finance. I know I have to let them know, of course, because it's their house and
Yeah.
it's mine. But would they have a big problem with that? Because I'm not changing anything in the design or the...
So the question is, for finance aspect, if you're going to be changing it to sui generis, are you going to have to tell the finance company, because does that change the lending to you? So then my question back is, well, if you're still doing the same works, whether it's 6 or 8 people, it doesn't change the amount of money the lender needs to give you to pay for it. So it doesn't depend on the 8 bedroom or the 6 bedroom, because it's not an 8 bedroom, it's an 8 person. So you can still do the same.
I would still tell them, but it's not mine.
But ask your broker.
But ask your broker, of course.
Because your broker's the one
Yeah.
with the relationship. If it's a decent broker, he's going to have a good relationship with the lender. So he's going to be able to say, what's the big print is, you know, is it a big thing or is it not? Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Big round of applause. Let's go to this table.
Yes, my name is Lunas. I had a question, like, I was looking like for private investors, and I found a few of them, but I have a difficulty. They always asking me like how I can guarantee with the project that they will get the money back. Is there any advice? Because they usually like asking, can we write down the property on the name? But I was not sure when how legally can they play maybe me around, so that I will be out of the game in the end.
Awesome. So the question is, you want to know what security can you offer private investors? Yeah, excellent. So I can see a VIP wristband. So we can go in more depth in the VIP session that's going to happen tonight. But to give you the key principles here, again, it is a process of discovery. Because you've got to understand, because then, and we're going to do this tomorrow as well, on how you find investors and which ones are good investors for you. Because you might say, okay, so I got this project and I'm going to operate this way, and then an investor comes along and it don't quite fit. You think just because they have money they're a good investor for you? No, it doesn't work like that. How they want to operate and the way, like what they're happy with security wise and all the rest of it, is also needs to be compatible. Yeah. So it's a process of discovery to be like, what is it that they're comfortable with? If these are first time people who want to invest in property, then they might not be sure, so then a little bit of direction from you, like it depends how much it is as well. You know, we've got all kinds of different ways of doing it. Like we got loan agreement, which is like literally 1 or 2 pages long, very simple. This amount of money is going to us and we're going to pay you this back with this much interest. Just says that, signed and witnessed. We've got other ones that's like, I don't know how many pages
42.
42 pages, yeah, long, which explains that we set up a company, and this company...
So it's the deed
like
on charge of shares.
Yeah, like this guy's got the contract that says if we do not pay him back what we said we're going to pay in the times, he can take over the company, and the company owns the building. You know, that was a really clever way
Yeah,
that he
so
actually came up with. So
it's
we
like,
we wanted.
so a loan note or a deed on charge of shares, which is what it's both called, it's like the investor having a first charge without having a first charge.
Well-
because the bank has the first charge on
Well,
the
it gives them
property.
high
but
security,
they
but it's
have
not
like
a
a
first charge,
it's
you can't
like
say first charge.
yeah, but it's like a first charge because if we default on them, they take over the company that owns the asset.
Yeah, but if
And
the
then
project
they
goes,
keep the
if the
asset.
project went wrong, then the bank needs to sell it. Then that's their first charge. So it's not like
On the
first-
on the
Yeah,
property, but for
really-
them,
no, because it's not first charge.
it's like a first charge.
Can you wrap
They
up
get
in a,
they get.
in a holdings company then? So you've got
No, hold
all
on. Yeah, hold on
separate-
1 second. So just clear that because I want everyone to be clear on that. Because we're not financial advisors, far from it. Yeah, but a first charge, if something goes wrong with a project and the property needs to be sold, then the bank is the one that's going to
Paid
get that money
first.
first. Forget this investor guy. Yeah, but all he wanted was the security of if it didn't work out and we didn't pay it the money within the time frame because he wants to protect his money, then he could take over it and finish the project himself. Yeah, that's what he wanted. So but it's not. I get what you're saying. Like it's like a first charge, but it's not. I want everyone to be because when you're in the game, you get it more. But
Okay.
then you say it's like a first charge. I don't want you guys going out there thinking that's the first charge because it isn't. Does that make sense? Is that okay?
Yeah.
You just wanted to add something?
Yeah, so in that structure you've got, you could essentially then have a holdings company that holds each of those daughter companies, and so each of the projects is separate. So then you're not crossing risk. Is that what that's what you're essentially
I
saying?
mean, we actually do that. I'm not saying that's the only way.
No, I just-
we do
but-
that, but at the same time, the control that he would be able to take over is only to do
Oh,
with
yeah,
this.
yes.
This specific asset.
It is the shares. I mean, it's getting a bit complicated for some people, but this company owns this company,
Yeah.
so it's the group company's shares that he has the charge over, but he doesn't have anything to do with this company.
It's nice like that.
Yeah, because there was a long, drawn-out process to understand and agree all of that. But does that answer the question?
Yes.
Excellent. Big round of applause. Do we have a question? Do we have a question on this table? We're back to the start.
This question.
Okay,
I
yeah.
mean, if the bank isn't involved,
Uh-huh.
then the investor must be able to have first charge on the property.
Yes, of
That
course.
is
Yeah, if there's
that
no
is
bank,
also
if they're putting
possible.
100% of the funds in, then there's no bank, they get first charge.
We're going to
absolutely.
talk loads more about that tomorrow because there are so many ways in terms of like using leverage and what creative ways. Like if you got enough money to do that, like, and your goal is to generate more money or more income, to put a lot of money into one, or to pay an investor a return of whatever you agree, sometimes might work out more than borrowing a small amount from the investor and getting the rest from the bank. So it's about when it comes to borrowing money, it's got to be a right partnership, but at the same time, after the right partnership, you want to then take the lowest, cost of borrowing. Does that make sense? Yeah, awesome. Round of applause.
Sean?
I don't want to ask anything. I just want to share a golden nugget you just struck me now.
Okay, and then we come to Sean, yeah? Yeah, share that golden nugget.
How about if you give your contract that you have with somebody for angel investment for witnessing to your next potential investor?
I don't understand.
So you have a contract with somebody and you need a witness on the contract, yeah?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And you go to the witness, can I choose up my witness for this contract, please? Would you mind witnessing that for us?
Oh, what do you mean?
Oh, seed! Planting a seed! Going like this and then going, yes, you're my investor! Okay, good idea.
The person, I'm going to give them 10% or 50 grand. Would you mind being my witness on the contract?
Exactly, that's one way of asking for their opinion, which we'll go through tomorrow. Awesome. Good.
Thank you. Sean.
Yeah, I'm a bit stuck and it's a bit of indecision. And what it is, I've got a couple of unencumbered properties. And one I've just done up back to brick, and it was going to be for a family relative, but it's not likely to be the case now. And it's only a 2-bedroom bungalow, and I don't know whether to sell it or rent it, but I need to draw down funds on it to get into my HMO journey, whatever.
Is there demand for rent? So the question
There
is...
will be. There's demand everywhere for buy-to-let, for rental. Yeah, general rental, there's demand there.
Yeah, but...
But does it work on the numbers?
Yeah, does it work
It
on the
doesn't-
number?
And this is why I don't want to do buy-to-lets. It doesn't generate enough money for me.
So do you want to sell it? Is what you're thinking?
Well, he's just answered his own question.
It's beautiful now, it's just the carpet's about to go down. Rather than rent it out, I've got to decide, do I want to sell it now, at this moment?
Yeah.
You know,
So you could do
So
two
Before you give the answer, because this is really important based on what we did all yeah, but you just...
I know, I want to say it.
If you give the answer, because what it comes down to, it totally depends. You know, 5 people could ask this exact same question, 5 different answers. Right. Yeah, so what it comes down to is what we were learning this morning. Yeah, what is your outcome? What's your milestone goal? And then what strategy do you want to work? Because then you start making decisions based on what's going to get you to where you want to be. If it's, you know, keep it, earn a little bit. If it's sell it, take some money, put it somewhere else, you're going to be able to know that.
That one, I think I'm going to sell, right?
Okay, good. Yeah, good decision.
But the other one, it needs a refurb, okay? And I haven't started it. And I had some spare cash a while ago and I bought it just to be safe with the cash. You know, no educational property mindset with it. And I'm thinking of, I don't want to rent it out just as a small family home. I want to cash flow it the best I can. It's not big enough for one of your 5-6 bit HMOs, and I need to sort of kind of work out, is it, and your view on it, is it worth doing smaller HMOs? You know, that have to share a bathroom and whatever.
Yeah.
Would you keep away from that market?
No, absolutely. It's worth doing. It's like, it's not one of my strategies because I want the big cash flowing beasts that I can pull all my money back out of. The only difference with the smaller ones, you still make a great income, but they won't get valued commercially on the back end because they're too small.
They just won't be commercially valued.
That's all. It will just be, it's like more of a valuable buy-to-let, basically. So it will just get valued like a bigger version of a buy-to-let. But then your mortgage rate will be lower that you're buying it on. So the mortgage rate will be lower, so you'll get higher income. So again, just based on your outcome, like what strategy suits you. Do you want more income? And then maybe not so much on the leverage on it. But like on the other deals, I would look at both of them. One that's almost finished, either just crack on and sell it and don't touch it at all. Or you could do a sales bridge on it now. So whilst it's being finished off, pull your money out so that you can utilize it on the other deals and new deals. And then on the one that's not finished yet, do a sales bridge on that. So if your outcome is to sell it, do a sales bridge so you can release some funds on it because you've got no lending against it right now. So do a sales bridge, pull some money out, start investing with it, get this finished, sell it, or refinance it on the back end if that's your intention.
Figure demand for a small HMO. Stamford's not like.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Is there demand?
It's more of an affluent town where property prices are high, and you know there are buy-to-lets there, but it's not a great place for buy-to-lets either.
But is there a demand for HMO? And if there is, then another option would be to create that smaller HMO, but then sell it because that's what we did.
Yeah.
We created a
4-bed.
A 4-bed. We made a mistake on the prop valuation. We bought it for 95. The prop val was 135. I don't know why.
165.
Whatever. Yeah, I don't know what it was.
There's always some demand. There's small demand, I think, for it. There's some.
Yeah, there is. The smaller ones, people actually like them.
Yeah,
you could rent the whole house.
Yeah, but if you don't get the commercial val, because that's why I would stop one from doing it. But someone may buy it if there is demand and you can get it tenanted and it's good cash flow. There's people who just want to buy it because they don't want to do anything. They want to buy the end article.
Get it up and running.
Yeah. So you make a going concern flip.
Okay.
So you do everything like you would normally as if you were going to keep it. But like for us, if we were going to keep it, unless we changed to another bank, which we couldn't be asked with the ball ache, so we just sold it. So it would have been 165. We sold it in 2 days off market for 250,000. We bought it for 95 and spent 35 on it. So we made a lot of money. And I was like, to be honest, it's only a 4-bed. Let's just sell it and utilize the money elsewhere.
There's a lot of investors out there who want to buy ready-made.
Yes, because there's a lot of so for example, the ones that buy those are people they'll use their pensions. So that instead of having pensions in their business, they buy income-generating assets like property. So they don't have mortgages; they just buy them, and then the income comes in, which serves their pensions.
Okay, thank you.
So.
Can I answer the question?
Yeah.
Big round of applause. You have a question?
Yeah.
We'll come to you after. Let's just make sure we go around the table. Seb, you have a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just about starting on a JV for a 10-bed HMO in Birmingham.
Woo!
But me and the other JV partner don't have any networks in Birmingham. So we've got the architect gone in, turn around drawings hopefully in the next few days. But build team, project managers.
You don't have any of that?
No. So it is the best way to
So what's the question?
base deal and borrow from the tribe members in Birmingham.
So the question is, you came to an event in September, right?
Yeah.
So you came in September. You came back for more?
What?
You came back for more?
Twice. Did you get me to it?
Yeah, okay, so here's the thing. How many times have you asked that question or put it out there that, hey, this is the project, this is what's going on, who's in Birmingham, and just let people know what you're doing?
Yeah.
How many times?
None, because I've only just signed up to the project. But
When's only just? This morning?
Last week.
Last week when?
I'll see where we go with this, but yeah.
This is weird. Because it's the truth. Vicky was trying to tell me, oh, I only had the email at 7:22 this morning, so I haven't had time to call it. I said, take 3 minutes to make the call. What do you mean you haven't had time? You take longer to go to the toilet. Surely you can do it. Because that's the truth.
Do it on the toilet.
So this is what it comes down to.
I
The
do.
information of knowing what to do is not the problem. It's just doing it. So you say that, you don't know, like, that's passive then. Because now you're here, enjoying yourself, learning more, increasing your vibration again, and then it's working for you because people on Facebook and in the group are seeing it. Because it's the weekend, so people are going to see it and say, oh, yeah,
so the outcome here is you need a project manager, like build team and everything in Birmingham, and you want to know who does that.
The JV part. Yeah.
Sorry?
Okay, the JV partner is asking that question as well, but we're
Okay.
not getting a load of answers, so.
In the tribe?
Yeah.
Who is that?
Tim
Higgs. Yeah, but you haven't asked either.
Not yet.
Yeah, there's plenty going on there for sure, 100%. I know
That's the way
that.
to do it. Okay.
I already know that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't just like ask once either. Or like people need to know what's going on because they might see it, and just because they're not replying to anything right now. I mean, you know what it's like. How many of you open your phone sometimes? Oh yeah, it's really interesting, and someone calls you, and then that's it. Phone is in your pocket. You forgot. You moved on to something. You just never know. You just never know. That's why you got to be telling people, hey, I got this project, hey, I got this, and putting yourself out there, which we're going to talk more about, tomorrow and some other things that we do as well. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, but I have one more question.
Okay.
How do I build a consistent property social media presence?
So what's the question again?
How do I build a social media presence across all the social media platforms on property that's consistent?
Consistent. I think you know the answer to that. What do you think the answer is?
I don't know.
I think you know the answer, but you don't want to do it, or you're not doing it, or there's something around what you know you need to do.
The situation for me is that I'm not a social media specialist, so.
Am I a social media specialist?
No, but you have people that you utilise to do that.
Was it always like that?
I don't know.
I mean, you can go back on Facebook.
Yeah, but that's only one platform. I need something that's going to cover everything and do
Why do you need something to cover it? You need to just start fast.
True. Yeah, well, I do start, then you stop, and you start and stop. So.
Okay, so your question is, how do you do it consistently?
Yes.
Hootsuite.
How do you think?
We got to do it all the time.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's like anything. You're a very capable guy. Just give me one thing. I know I'm putting you on the spot, but just give me one thing you know you're awesome at.
Selling.
Yeah. Okay. And why is that?
Myself.
And was you born like that? Well, the truth is that is yes as well. But like, what is it you've done in your life?
Yeah. Build a solid business.
Yeah, all the time,
Yeah.
and kept going, and then you get better and you tweak and you get different. I mean, if you look at some of the videos that I mean, Facebook is awesome at reminding you, 2 and 3 and 5 years ago. And I'm like, how do you get rid of this? Because it's reminding me. But at the same time, I look at it and I'm like,
It's a good lesson.
I'm teaching people, just start. You can't think that you're gonna do a video and you're gonna get a response like Gary Vee does. It's just not gonna happen. I think one of my first, it wasn't one of my first, but one of my first few in the first, let's say 100 videos, that just goes to show how many you got to do. I started doing it, I had this white shirt with this red tie on, some of you might have seen it. I started going, hey guys, your outcome, and blah, blah, blah. And someone wrote on a comment, it said, what is this shit?
I remember
that as well. I was like, you know what? I needed that to just say, I've got to go on no matter what. So you just got to do it. So you know the answer.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
You answered your question. Give yourself a round of applause. Yep.
So,
what's your name?
David. As I shared my outcome earlier, I'm very, very good with people. That's the thing I'm good at. I'm seeing at HMO on Monday, close chatting to the guy who's driving my Uber yesterday.
Awesome.
Wow, that's brilliant.
So I keep getting offered things. So I saw a little flat on Friday. It's definitely not what I want. I've got to agree at like 18 grand less than what the original asking was. It flows really well. My question is, do I try and get someone to front the cash on a loan and do a 10% back in a year or 2 years when I refinance it? Or do I just package up and sell it as a deal?
What do you want to do?
I don't know. That's my question. That's my two options. I do not know which one is.
So-
Okay, let me just give a short answer because I'm guessing yours might be longer. Yeah, the short answer is don't get hung up on one deal. Don't invest all your time, your energy, and effort thinking about what do I do this? What do I do this? Yeah, just do something. Just do something because as long as it works, just do it. Where's Adi? Is Adi in here? I was talking to you this morning. I was like, "Are you here for the whole weekend?" Because this guy's been to many events. And it just wouldn't give me a decision. I said, "Make a decision, man. You're either here or you're not." Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, don't get hung up on that stuff. Because I know before you were doing that for a few years, you were just in a circle of what decision do I make? And then for 2 years, you don't make any decision. So don't get that. My thing is, don't get hung up on the deal. I don't know what you want to say. I shouldn't want to say anything. Okay.
No, so it's very simple. Just analyse what makes more money. Like, do you want to keep it and have it as an appreciating asset in your portfolio, or do you want to make a quick something for sourcing it on?
Get out. You've not finished.
See? Assume. Never assume it makes an ass out of you and... Whoops. Whoops. There you go.
It worked.
See?
So
Awesome. Good round of applause.
One more.
So I'm just starting off my journey now. So quite a lot of the things you've gone on about, I don't really know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on.
So my strategy, what I want to take forward is HMO. But from my friends who have been on this course before, they've says that to start off with, you can't go straight into a HMO.
They've been on this course.
Yes.
This course?
Program, and they said you can't start.
They said you could go into a 3-bed HMO, a mini HMO. But
This
Our
course is
course?
called Real Life Property Wealth.
Yeah.
I would never have said that.
If you don't want to tell
once.
me in front of everyone, you can tell me after.
Yeah.
Because who said you can't do it? I don't get that.
Because they were saying something about the licensing. You struggle to get a licensing unless you've got a.
I want to know who that is, so please let me know because I want to help them.
Okay.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, our first ever one was a 5-bed HMO.
Licensable HMO.
Licensable HMO.
Commercial value.
I'm doing that now.
Yeah. George is doing it.
Sam's done it. Vicky.
7-bed HMO was his first deal.
Vicky and Bea have done it. Ray and Tasha have done it.
5-bed. The first one was a 5-bed. Anybody else? Yeah, what's your first? Yeah, you did an SA first.
Yeah, so 4-bed, 9.
Now you're doing a 9-bed.
9-bed now.
I want to know who that is because that's not what's happening.
I think I would say the opposite of that is like, don't be scared and go straight for HMO. I would say the opposite. Like,
As long as everything stacks up, this is what I mean.
Go
We're
for
going
it.
to follow the formula, but then something that's going to happen tomorrow. We're going to go through a numbers piece tomorrow, but then something that happens after that, that's what you're going to need because you've got a lot of outside influence and stuff that you need to overcome just to be able to do it. Just do it. But following the safe thing, like these are principles that we teach. It's not tactic like, the bank works like this and the weather is this way, so do it like that. And when it changes, you screw it. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later.
But in answer to your question, yes, you can do HMO if for your first deal. Yeah, you can. Because if you're surrounded by the right teams and support, then you'll know exactly what to do.